2025 product town hall. I'm very excited to have you all. Appreciate you carving out the time to join us today. We're going to have some teammates that will be monitoring chat. If you have questions throughout, would love to keep the engagement high. So please jump in if you have thoughts or perspectives on some of the new things that we're going to be going through today. We definitely want to have an open forum here and yeah, make it helpful for everyone as you get up to speed on some of the new product releases. And yeah, we're keen to lean in more and spend time with you to make sure that you're fully leveraging some of the new additions here. Quick intros on our side. For those of you that do not know us, I'm Mike Horan. I lead our account management team at Wheelhouse. I hope everyone knows who their account manager is and is working closely with them. We're here to help you get the most out of the platform, and maximize revenue. I joined Wheelhouse 3 years ago. Prior to that, I worked on the data platform team at Twitter, managing the finance vertical. I sit in Denver, Colorado, but originally from Massachusetts. Um, I'll pass it over to Amber to introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. I think I know a lot of you, but I'm Amber Carpenter. I'm the Vice President of Product and Growth here at Wheelhouse. Been in the industry about 25 years. Grew up in Houston, Texas, lived in Destin, Florida for about 15 years, and I've been out in the Pacific Northwest in the Bend, Oregon area for almost a decade now. So, been all over.
We are also going to be joined shortly by our fearless leader and CEO, Andrew Kitchell. He's going to take the reins on some of the new reporting capabilities and as well as our new exciting model and model opt-in functionality that we're going to be releasing. Um, but as far as an agenda goes, today we're going to dig into two of our larger product releases from Q4. First, we have group settings, which has been incredibly popular with customers. Helps you manage listings at scale across different segments and groups. So grouping listings and making it clear for those with similar settings where there might be specific outliers that you should be aware of before you make changes, hoping to reduce risk. Yeah, keep things nimble so you can add certain settings and not ruin existing structure within some of those groups. Then we'll shift to reports and snapshots, our new reporting functionality, both at the individual listing and the portfolio or subgroup levels. Um, this is going to be a big unlock for both internal and owner-facing reporting efforts. And then our new snapshot functionality makes it incredibly easy for y'all to share performance with various stakeholders, again, internal or external, and allow for more engagement and dialogue to discuss in depth with those different stakeholders directly in the platform. Um, from there, we're going to pivot to some of the upcoming releases from Wheelhouse. So we have a new model we're really excited to get into our customers' hands. It's been a big investment from our data science team to continue to refine the existing model. We spent months and months thoroughly testing it with our revenue management team across thousands of markets, and really excited for what we've seen there. We'll dig into that a little bit. And then along with that model, we're introducing a ton of new functionality to help you evaluate the model over model changes. We want to make it really easy for you to be able to see the variances across the available calendar on a date-specific basis, across all your individual listings and at a portfolio or group scale, to make it easy and efficient as you evaluate. And then you have the ability to opt into the new model or remain on the existing model for at least 3 months as you are yeah, determining what settings you might want to adjust or tweak as you move over to what we feel is a really strong, efficient, optimized new version of the pricing model for us. So let's dig in. First, again, focusing on some of the releases that are out the door in Q4. Group settings. So this has been a really important feature that we've released for enterprise customers managing at scale. when you're managing a number of listings, we want to make it easy for you to understand the different components of settings that might be applying across a group because we know all it takes is one specific owner requirement, a min price or a min stay for a specific date range that throws off your entire kind of standard template. It makes you have to manage listings unique. Uh, Requires quite a bit of time and careful oversight. Presents a lot of risk if you miss the needle in the haystack and you make some type of adjustment or tweak and have an owner reaching out to you with concerns about a min price that maybe you got a little unwieldy and applied at a group level. So we want to make it easy for you to discover those listings and dynamic where you're able to make changes as desired, but not impact those outlier listings and their specific settings if you need them to stay as is. So let's jump into the actual platform and see what this looks like um, in a live environment here. So as with anything in portfolio settings, portfolio calendar, dashboard, we make it really easy to segment and pull out specific groups of properties. So none of that changes here. You can always pull up a specific cohort. And then, once you have the group of listings you'd like to make some type of setting change across, you just select those group of listings, scroll over to the specific setting that you want to make some type of sweeping change for, say, for instance, minimum stays. With a general strategy for a minimum stay, you might have across a similar property type. Um, you could pull up that group of properties, and what we're trying to do here is make it clear if there's specific unique settings. So across the top here, you're going to be able to see the different groupings that might have some type of variance um, in their overall setting structure. So, for instance, Group A here, everything has this global min stay rule of two and no other unique values. Group B has the global min value of two, but has some type of time-based component, and so on and so forth. Each group might have some type of unique sub rule, and we're trying to make sure that we highlight those for you. We make it easy for you to be able to pull up and open up each individual listing if that helps to review notes and context for why a specific outlier rule might exist. Um, but yeah, we want to make it easy for you to be able to identify those different groupings, see the specific settings within them that make them unique, and still be able to, take action across all the listings if you just wanted to come in and apply some type of new global rule for them or new sub rule. You could grab all of the listings and still do so, or you can do it at the individual group level and just add specific rules to those. So trying to keep things nimble and allow you to identify those outliers, remove them from a mass update, or combine them and make the change for any sub rules. Especially managing at scales has been incredibly helpful for our customers, reduces a lot of risk. Again, allows you to find the needle in the haystack so that it's easy for you to jump in and manipulate or make changes. Even if it's just adding a sub rule across a specific group, it keeps things really efficient for you to be able to identify and then implement those changes at the group level. Um, Amber, Andrew, anything else in here that you feel like is worth noting or going through and explaining?
I think you covered most of it. I think we're super excited to hear feedback from all of you on this and how you're using it, and what it's unlocked for you. What else you would like to see in the future related to group settings? It's something that I think we're going to revisit in the next couple of cycles and make a couple tweaks to. So just super excited to hear from you all on how you're using it and if it's made an impact for you.
Yeah, some of the ideas that we've been hearing from customers, taking out groups and being able to automatically apply a tag to help for further segmentation and applying specific strategies and um, yeah, certain overrides to a specific cohort of listings. being able to peel out and kind of templatize a group. But hopefully this makes it a little bit more dynamic so you're not locked in. And again, you might have the same kind of consistent setting strategy across the majority of similar property types in a given market, but there might be one owner requirement that kind of breaks that template. And this allows you to still manage a group of properties in the same way, but have the context of yeah, that there's specific subsettings that an owner's dictated that you need to be aware of and still incorporate your strategy, but also adhere to whatever their requirements are.
Yeah, I'll spare everyone because I just joined. Good to see everyone. I think the most fun part is this notion of dynamic templates and the ability to be able to just make really good updates across either the whole, all your groups at once or individual groups is really an accelerant. Sarah, I might ask you to drop an example in the chat here if you're comfortable, just saying how you've used it or where you've used it would be super fun to hear. Sweet. Do we talk about any questions on this all? Sounds like we are good. Should we keep cranking?
Yeah, let's
Onward.
go.
All right. Also curious to hear if anyone in chat has used this new aspect of Wheelhouse reports and snapshots. We rolled it out in Q4. We'll be circling back on it in about 5 weeks for some more work. The general goal, really what you'll see from Wheelhouse in 2026, crazy to say that, is we want to make it easier to communicate revenue management strategies, either across a team or to owners. We're really interested in how uh, reports and snapshots can be used to make sure you can drive owner retention, potentially be used for owner acquisition, and we've pushed into that a little bit here. Um, so what we're going to step through in a second here is a pretty robust reports and snapshots tool. It, at the very worst, replaces your old individual performance page. We'll make sure you're able to access that. But at best, opens up a whole new avenue of metrics you can look at, ways to communicate, etc. Um, for better or worse, in typical Wheelhouse fashion, we've made it incredibly customizable. We will follow up that all the customizability that we've added by creating more system reports that you can access. So it's one click in to get those reports. We'll see that in a second. But yeah, I think generally, Mike and Amber, anything you want to share? Otherwise, I was just going to dive right into looking at it together.
No, I
Cool.
think let's dive in and do the demo, the
Great.
fun part.
Yeah, so two places you're going to find reports and snapshots, right? We'll start from the dashboard. I know everyone's familiar with that. Most visibly, maybe ironically, you'll see reporting in the top nav. Most of you will probably first want to start with looking at an individual listing, and you'll see this reporting tab here as well on the individual listing level. When I click in here, all the reports within this listing, no surprise, will be tied to this individual listing, meaning the report will really come pre-configured. And I mentioned we kind of default replace the performance page or tab. This is the old performance tab I was referencing. You'll now find a report here that's going to replicate and in some ways enhance that old performance page. In this case, I'm looking at listing versus last year. I can bring in other data sources, but everything you see here, adjusted occupancy, nightly revenue, length of stay, this is really replicating that prior performance tab. All right, so at very worst, you're going to get a more robust option here. If you want to come in, this is something you could not do on the prior performance tab, and you wanted to look at just this year or pre-configured date ranges, you could do that. So I can make that adjustment here. I can also come up, let's see. Sorry, if I wanted to look at, if I want to adjust the whole report, I can do so up here as well, right? So an individual, what we call widgets. So this is a chart widget. You'll be able to customize a lot of different aspects. If you want to bring in more data, so if you wanted to overlay a performance metric like market data, you can do so. Something you didn't have on the prior performance page as well. If you like the updates you make, you can easily save it as a new report. If you do so, this will now be available across every single listing in your portfolio. There's a lot more you can do here. We'll get to it in a second. I want to zoom back out though. So we noted on the slide quickly, there are already 4 of these system reports. So these are pre-configured reports. If you have an idea for a report that you think would benefit you, send it to us. It's very easy to build another one of these and make it available across all listings. But now I'm bringing in this report more explicitly looks at my listing versus market performance. So now I'm looking at nightly revenue, adjusted occupancy, and I'm looking at that first with these different types of widgets, these kind of metric or stats widgets. I have charting, I have other views, I even have table views as well. Amber, you have your hand up. You have a question? Or is there a question from chat? Or is it Zoom raise your hand for you? Since you're on mute, I'm going to assume it's the latter. Okay, we're
No,
going to keep
Zoom is
rocking.
stuck for me. Zoom is spinning. So sorry about that.
Got it. And Mike, are there any questions in chat? Am I going too quickly? I know there's
No questions yet. Just ask the chat if folks are leveraging this yet or have built their own. Would love to hear from you.
cool. So, a couple different report types. We have 4. And where this gets into owner communications or team communications, couple ways. All this data is live, meaning if I came back tomorrow, as a report, you're always going to see up-to-date data, right? The time period, all this data could change if you got new bookings, et cetera. The market got new bookings. If I wanted to freeze it in time, I have 2 ways to do it. One is I could just export as a PDF. If you export as a PDF, you'll get a well-formatted single-page document that includes all this information, and you can send it to anyone, email, text, etc. You can also create a snapshot. And there's an interesting advantage that happens when you create a snapshot. So I'm going to view this snapshot. With this snapshot, you now have a place to discuss this report and continue an ongoing conversation with teammates or owners about it. For example, you can see instantly the start conversation panel opened on the side. Now, if I had shared this with a teammate or an owner or anyone, they could come in and view this snapshot and leave a comment for you. And if I tagged Mike or I tag Amber and ask a question, submit it, it's going to fire on their dashboard, right? So here you can see I have a comment from another teammate around a different report. So we think this discussion of data and the tracking of it and having the ability to discuss, hey, what do we want to do differently around this is pretty interesting. And again, we do see a world where for owner retention, in particular for owner comms, some folks are starting to lean into how can they share this data to really quiet down owner comms. Folks are using this as when they've been sending the PDF. They've actually found that when they're sending these reports out, they get responses back like, "Oh, of course I can never do my own pricing. Thank you." Right? So while it looks like a lot of data, it is quieting down noise. Other folks are sending these emails, and it's the only email the owner opens. It's a new marketing channel for them because they can say, "Hey, we're doing a great job with your home. Can we take advantage of?" Or are there other folks who might want to join our portal? So we really look at this communication of the right data. And we'll tell you we have good data here, but we know next turn in a couple of weeks will be better data. We think there's one report that everyone would want to send. That is, how many nights does your owner have blocked, and therefore how much revenue are they missing out on potentially? We do not have that report yet as a system report. We want that available to you. We're going to build that.
Andrew, I think Petro had a great question here asking if there's a pacing option for the charts comparing occupancy, et cetera, to this point last year.
Great question. So the short answer is, well, Amber, do you know better than I do? I know we're working on the same time. We're working on
We're
getting same
working
time
on
last year data here.
We don't
right?
have it yet, but we're working on it currently to bring in kind of that same time last year data. So it's in the works as we speak. Just wanted to bring
Yeah,
up.
you can see market so put differently, you can see market pacing here looking ahead. You can't bring in and see same time last year here yet,
Yep.
right? So you'll have a less than perfect view of pacing. For data sources, you notice here that this is performance versus market. You also can do performance versus a competitive set, or dynamic set. So if you've built a dynamic set, you can bring that in there. And this data sources widget opens up and allows me to control which dynamic set I want to bring in. I can even change the market. I could bring in more listings from my own portfolio. Again, highly configurable, which is why we'll continue to put out system reports. So you don't need to do anything. You can just use them and share them. So give us your feedback about what you want. We'll build it for you or with you. You're also unbounded in what you create now. If you're really eager to create your own reports, you can go to the upper right corner. I'll do that again quickly. I can come to add or edit a widget. When I add a widget, I can really bring in almost anything. One thing that's I think pretty interesting, you can bring in your pricing chart. So if I wanted to communicate to an owner, here's how we're doing versus a comp set or a market, and I wanted to bring in my pricing chart for the next year, I could do so. And much like your in context views, I'm able to go bring in, well, how is my comp set price? I want to look at the range. And again, your owner could come in and see, okay, my comp set's price in a very boring fashion. Let's bring in market data, market median and market pricing. So again, you'll be able to see this information when I export it. Or if I like this, I could easily say performance versus comps plus far future pricing. If I save this view, again, this interface is now available across every single listing, so you would be able to send them out to any and all owners, however you please. We could talk about this product for a long time. We're not going to. I did want to go, I went back to the top level nav. On the top level nav, maybe the most confusing part about the product today is when you do click into performance. I'll let you go back for a second. I'm going to click into this performance versus market. Because we're now by default, for you, you'll pull in all of your listings, which you can do. You won't necessarily have an assigned market to start. You won't have any assigned dynamic sets, so these will be open. So we're still working on a really clear interface to let you know you could go to your overview, filter down to a listing, and kind of get the right information. But consider this kind of portfolio reporting suite more advanced than that individual listing reporting suite we were able to access at the listing level. I clicked into a listing, I went to reporting suite. It's much more pre-configured for you. So I'd recommend starting here before moving to the big kind of whole performance reporting suite. This is pretty fun. You can come in here and you can pull. If you've created a segment, you can bring in a segment in here to get performance by segment. You can bring in multiple listings. So I could just look at 3 listings together. We'll bring this listing filter to other interfaces. You can filter much like you can anywhere else to look at your bedrooms, whatever it is, or a tag. Basically, you have an unlimited reporting suite here. Maybe TMI on reports. It's really fun. It's really cool. Excited to circle back in a couple weeks to get some of those new reports I mentioned to you all. But a foundation for kind of a next level of owner outreach, owner comms. Cool. Now to the really fun stuff.
Yeah. Do you want to start, Andrew? Do you want me to take it from here? How do we want to do this? I know we're
Why
both
don't you
super
take
passionate about it.
take engine opt in, and I can hop
Great.
in on kind of the A/B tests around pricing engine and more.
Sweet. I'm going to share my screen really quick. Oops. We are incredibly excited about the impending rollout of Model 9.0. It's coming next week. This should be live on Tuesday, the 20th, is our goal to get this live across everyone's platform. But the big difference is that this time you're going to be able to opt into the new model. And if you come into Wheelhouse and you're in your dashboard, you're able to come into any of your units. There's kind of two ways to get to it, and you're going to come into your settings and you have this new menu item here called engine version. And so you can see that you have this ability to opt into the model, but even before you decide if you want to opt into the model, we have all of these new tools to help you evaluate the pricing engine. And so you're able to see, you can see the current engine is the blue line, the opt-in engine is the gray line. And what we're most excited about, like fundamentally what is changing about this model is that we are really going to be able to price your high season better and more competitively at the top of the market and price your low season better to achieve more bookings at the lower end of the market. Where we're seeing the most conversion occur in the pricing quantiles is where we're going to be pricing you. Andrew, I don't know if you want to add some color to that, but you're able to come in and really see, and this is at the unit level, you're able to see how the pricing engine, you can zoom in like you can do on any of our in context charts. We're also giving you indications of when we are actually increasing. So you can see this is showing you the green highlight in the background for you to zoom in on. And you can also see where some of the decreases are happening if you want to zoom in and see where that's occurring. You can see some statistics and you can see your average price. Here is 162. It's going up to 168 on the new engine. You can see your price range on the engine. And right now we're calling this price volatility, but by Tuesday, hopefully this has changed to, I think we called it variability. Andrew,
That's
what
right.
did we come up with this morning? Right. Because we had some feedback that this was a negative connotation, but actually that really aligns with what we're trying to say is it's the difference in this range. And so it's really the variation between your lowest rate and your highest rate. So it's actually, you should see an increase in that variation or volatility as you're seeing on my screen right now, because you are going to be more competitive at the top of the market in your peak season and more competitive at the at lower prices in your off season, right? And so we also show you and point out your bottom of, all of your highest changes or lowest changes here so that you can zoom into those dates and make it easy for you to evaluate. Any questions before I show you the way to look at this from a portfolio perspective?
None yet.
I'm super excited about this. One of the things that I found when reviewing several portfolios is that, and we have an A/B test going on with over 1,200 units that we've been looking at, and we've been seeing that you can really peel back. I think Andrew is at an 80% reduction in settings, especially when it comes to seasonality. Is that what
Yeah.
we've been seeing in our data? Because the model gets seasonality so spot on. And so really that's one of the things that we would love some feedback on as you're playing with this starting next week. You can also come up to portfolio and go to engine version. And this is a great way, especially for larger portfolios, to be able to grab one of your segments. And you're able to see this on the tape chart view. You're going to see it at the date base. And I know this is really for those of you that like to see the data in a table view. And then also you can download this table if you want to do an analysis in Excel. But one of the most powerful things is that you can come down here to pricing engine comparison summary, and you can see for the selection of units, you can see what is going on in the current engine for this entire segment, right? So you can see it as a whole and see what's going on. You can also still come in here and zoom in and see what's going on and see the ranges kind of at scale. And then if you're like, oh, this looks much better, you can take that selection and change in bulk, change your pricing model here. We have this beta label here because one of the important things to understand is we haven't decided if it's a week or 2 weeks, it might be 3 weeks, but for a limited period of time, we want some really great juicy feedback from you guys to see how the model is behaving for you. Again, you can evaluate it before you fully commit. So we're really looking for all of you to give us feedback and dig into this as soon as possible. And let's say that we just find, a small tweak that would make a huge difference across the pricing engine. During this beta period, we may make small improvements to the model based on feedback from customers. Once you see this beta label get removed, it means like no changes will be made. So any feedback during this period, we will be reacting to. But we've actually been testing this for over a month with a limited set of portfolios. And I think we made one change to the model in that entire time. So we don't anticipate that we're going to be making any changes to the model, but we wanted to make sure it was clear to you all that it is feasible that small changes are made before you fully commit here. But we actually are recommending that you opt in and evaluate this model as soon as possible because the results have been incredible. Andrew, I don't have those statistics in front of me, but would you like to
I'm going
speak
to
to
cover it
some of
next.
those?
I'm going to
Okay,
cover it next.
great.
Yeah,
I'm going to stop sharing so you can cover those.
sweet. All right, all. So yeah, kind of fun. We're calling this 9.0 because it is a new era in a couple ways at Wheelhouse. One is we can really run multiple models simultaneously now. We can support them. We can improve them. Um, that's kind of a non-trivial infrastructure challenge. We also have so much data now. I mean, we're at 350 billion rows of data. The kind of booking and pricing data that we have is significant to say the least. And then that opt-in is something we really obviously needed to have this before in many ways. We recognize any upgrade to a pricing engine, even if we think it's better, it's not better if it doesn't come on your timeline. So the opt-in really is going to enable you to evaluate this model when it works for you, to make the move when it works for you. And I will show data why I think you might not want to wait that long. Um, okay, so we're going to get to the data and then we're going to get to the why ultimately we expect this to continue. So we've got a teammate Shannon who's leading this test. We have 565 units on the old, 560 on the new, and what we're trying to illustrate here is, we don't have an incentive to game this. We want to truly figure out if this works for you. So we want to look at the base price distribution and make sure that these two cohorts are really similar. And we're looking at kind of this isn't one market, one inventory type. This is a lot of different markets, a lot of different inventory types. I'm Right now, we're at day 20 of this particular A/B test, so we'll have an updated version of this for you. I think a couple headlines that I'm going to click into here, and this is the write-up that we'll be launching with this model. The headlines are this. It was a 12% increase in RevPAR. Right now, it's actually at 18%. So we expect to end this week somewhere, probably somewhere. A few more bookings will come in over the next 24 hours. We'll probably end the week at somewhere between a 17 and 20% RevPAR increase for Group B. That's part one. An obvious question is like, okay, cool. Well, are you just sacrificing the far future and selling a bunch of nights? This tells us we're not. Model B is increasing ADR as well. Amber mentioned this. One of the caveats, or kind of one of the important carve outs for this, is we wanted to see how much could you just rely on the new engine right out of the box. So at the same time, these are live units. We have to manage them to what we think is best. And sometimes that's a mix of our rules plus data driven, right? There's been an 80% reduction in the number of in the use of settings to modify the model at all. 60% of these listings are just running on recommended for seasonality, day of week, etc. 20% on running on aggressive, and 20% still have custom rules. What that basically means is right out of the box, this model is better able to perform. You're still going to want to customize things such as last minute discounting or far future. Those are really strategies you apply above a pricing engine, right? Those kind of inform like when do you want to take risk, how much do you want to drive occupancy in the as stay dates approach, gap nights. Those type of things are sometimes operational decisions, strategy decisions. Min price is still or min stays is going to be in your control. Min pricing is still going to be in your control, right? You're still going to want to have some boundaries. Um, and the other kind of interesting thing is I don't have the exact number yet because this will be published on Tuesday, and I need to get the number. But one of the interesting ways that the new model, the new model works is in the far future. historically it's kind of a low demand or a low data environment, right? When we're looking 300 days out, we aren't seeing very many bookings yet. Sometimes there are not a lot of listings available. That is what we would consider a low data environment, especially if you're in a small market, right? Um, what the new and because of that, our old model, when one booking would occur, one cancellation could occur, that could really change the booking curve for that market, and we would respond to that, trying to detect accurately demand signals. So a complaint was that pricing in the far future could jump around quite a bit. No doubt about it. The new model, when it does detect those signals, is much more rational about where it moves your price. And it does that by leveraging a lot of historic booking data to say, okay, when demand spiked, where did we truly land in the distribution of prices that were available at the time? So it's much more tethered to reality as opposed to just responding to booking patterns. Some things you're going to find. The reason our team was able to remove 80% of the configuration between models, so from model 8.3 to 9.0, was this new model is going to do a far better job of doing what we call demand decomposition. So we want to know, is demand coming from a seasonal spike, so it's going to persist for a while, and we can relate more to seasonal trends in the past? Is it day of week related? Is it local event related? One of the reasons we want to know that and break it down better for you is it means your settings are more accurate when you use them. Why did that pop up? Okay. Um, Part two is price elasticity. So a huge part of when we are able to detect those demand signals and where are they coming from, we want to know how those demand signals translate to price. And this model, this new approach, is using a lot more data, a lot more booking data and market data to understand what is the market's willingness to pay based on demand. So if demand's up 80%, how high can we push your price and still not push you out of a range where you're going to get booked? Price elasticity works the other way too. In a lower demand environment, do we need to cut your prices as much or not? This can be a day of week thing, such as a slow Tuesday, etc. And then the pricing spikes we already discussed. Section two, we talked about some of the model results already. We will have this document live and available for ongoing viewing. This test will probably run through uh, at least the month, but probably into January or February, sorry. And we'll just continue updating this. So modifications, we're going to make 7-day findings, 14-day findings, 21-day findings, all available, a little more headliney. So we want to launch this model with the first ever true, like, here's the measurement. We can't game it once it starts, like it's on. So we really, really like the results of this new model. And again, when you combine the amount of data we now have with a fundamentally better approach, I'm actually not surprised that the RevPAR continues to increase for this new model. Um, we will also publish examples of how we are better decomposing seasonality, how we used to do in the past. We're going to give you day of week examples. So we do want to continue to. We know all this is often too much information, but we do think it's fun to look at. And then we will have a methodology section here. So if you wanted to really come and shred, how the heck did we get better at doing this? Like, or why do we think we're better? A, the results, but B, like the approach is just better. So we will publish for your team, drop this into ChatGPT, and they'll tell you what we're doing here. But we don't want to hide this. Again, we still assume you will modify our pricing recommendations in some fashion, right? You're going to have a unique owner. You're going to have a unique situation. We are still predicting the future around uncertain events, whether they're economic, weather related, etc. So a revenue manager is just going to be very scaled with this new approach as opposed to solving everything. We still think we solve with you. Amber already showed you the opt-in. So next, it'll actually be Wednesday because Monday is MLK holiday. We'll be off. We'll come back Tuesday. We'll make a few final polish updates to it. It'll be out the door. So you will be able to upgrade on Wednesday. We will have this live and available. We will have the write-up live and available. You can upgrade on your own timeline. But I do think this is a fundamentally new era of pricing. I think from here, having multiple models available to you is very, very exciting to us. Having the opt-in available is very, very exciting to us. Launching all future models with an A/B test running for you to evaluate is going to be very, very interesting. If you want help setting up your own A/B test, our AM team can support you in that. It's actually really, really easy based on the infrastructure we have. So that is where we're at.
I do want to add one quick thing, Andrew, just to
Yeah,
get in front of the questions. We are going to have 8.3 available for at least 90 days. We really are going to be looking to see how the feedback goes, et cetera. And so that date could be longer, it could be shorter. It's not going to be shorter, but it could be longer. But I wanted to give everyone kind of some guardrails on how long we anticipate keeping the old model available.
yeah. In the future, model updates are going to be more nuanced. I would say a longer evaluation period is going to be necessary. I would say my bet is a lot of you are going to take a look at this and realize you can use your settings and configurations much, much better and drive more revenue. And yeah, it's on your own pace, and we will continue to illustrate that this is providing meaningfully better results. Mass opt-in every single unit. Yes, I'm going to show that one more time. So if we go to the portfolio page, a new tab that will be available to you, you'll see here I have a fourth tab. Whenever you see something that we show on our screen that you don't see, you're almost always going to see this admin only version next to it. It just means we're still building some aspects of it or still evaluating some aspects of it. I'm going to pull this up. I'm going to collapse my
Uh,
columns.
Hey, Andrew, do you see Petra's question? You might want to show how you do the bulk opt-in again. You just select all the units.
That's what I'm going to do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I was just making sure we could get there first. So pricing engine version. In this case, I've selected 74 units. Amber showed how I could evaluate it. Now it'll include all the ranges. And if I'm satisfied, I would change the pricing engine right here. And like Amber showed, if I wanted to filter by a tag or a market and just come into these markets and evaluate them, I could do so. I could opt in here as well. Is that answer? I think that's what you're
Yep.
asking, Pedro. Great.
Good timing too. Definitely want to shift to Q&A and get some feedback slash comments, questions from the crew. So please drop those in. Robert asks, with Airbnb's fee change, should we still be marking up each channel for its own fees, or should we use Airbnb as our base and raise lower minor platforms or fees higher, lower than Airbnb?
Amber, what's your best recommendation for fees?
I would absolutely, I mean, this is going to be dependent on your business model. If I understand the question correctly, I would absolutely think about what you want your channel mix to be to have the highest profitability. And also, you need to look at what your demand is on each of those channels. Not all markets are the same. Like Airbnb isn't as prolific or as it doesn't book as much for some clients in different markets. And so I would cover your costs if that's, how you're looking at your profit margin for each channel. But if Airbnb is, say, your biggest channel, right, it drives the most demand for you, then I would absolutely use it as your base.
What other questions does our group of participants here have? Please drop them in the chat. Love to hear from you.
Maybe because that was a fun question, we can let folks, um, anyone obviously, please leave at your own time or convenience. But there's one other part that you might have noticed of Wheelhouse that's soon to hit that is going to be pretty interesting. So you might have seen this admin only while we were showing our screen too. What we're now going to do, and for you, this will look a little different because you have real listings. I do not. We will be auto detecting the fees that you have on channels, and we will be showcasing this here. So if I had, if we were detecting a 20% fee, I can view that and I will be able to bring in my total asking rate into this view. What that means is you'll be able to see your distributed price. So Wheelhouse sets a price, but then you have fees per channel. You'll be able to see your distributed price. And this is really powerful when you go to a market aggregate view. And now you can see your price versus the distributed. So I'm going to strip out some of these. And now you could see your total asking rate versus market. once distributed. If I change this value, let's see. Oh, I'll have to add in 50%. This will adjust as well. And again, it's funny, for my demo listing that might be not working for you, but you'll see it actually, ironically, you'll see a better, more robust view than I will because you have real listings. And this rent plus fee preview will give you a sense of how you're actually performing or how your strategy is looking to the market. So some fun things to start the year.
I know it's a Thursday. Everybody is ready for a long weekend, but any final questions? No questions are silly. I think it helps everyone to hear what everyone's wondering. Would love to see just kind of how many people are excited that you actually get to opt in this time and have tools to evaluate the models.
Me, we owe you all.
Looks like we had at least one more question. Is that a question that came in? Oh, thank you, Sarah. Sarah, you've been the most awake of any of us this morning. So thank you. All right,
Awesome.
we're excited. Please work with your account managers to provide feedback once this goes live. I know they'll be talking to all of you about it. Mike, do you want to speak to that really quick?
Yeah, definitely encourage y'all to spend some time with the account managers and get fully versed in some of the new functionality that we just walked through today, as well as the new model as we release it. Um, we'll send out a recording of this walkthrough so you can share it across your teams. And yeah, super excited to unlock additional functionality in this new model for everyone to realize the full benefits of the platform. So greatly appreciate your time. Please continue to drop questions in if you have any. We can hang on for a little bit here, but yeah, excited to continue to work with you all through 2026.
Thanks all.
Thank you, guys.